I wanted to go live with Landon. Landon Porter is also known as the Sales Gorilla. And he's got this killer group right now that's just literally taking Facebook by storm. Landon, his wife Ash, a real cool guy named John Davie, right? And then Mark, the bald gorilla, right?
Yep.
So what's going on in that group every day is not just sales talk. They're sharing all kinds of just ridiculous, just overall business mentoring, especially on the digital marketing space. And just kind of really making sure that people understand the whole purpose of all of this is building relationships, because relationships are the foundation of at the end of the day, any sale, right? Like if it's not going to really happen unless you form that relationship first. So the reason why I'm live with Landon today specifically is because he has been an incredible mentor to me. To do this live today is because I got into Landon's group a little over a month ago, and about 2 weeks ago, I had this like real transparency moment where I felt like I was having really bad shiny object syndrome. I've kind of put myself in different areas just because I just want to provide value as much as I can. And Landon kind of brought me back down to earth and helped me find my focus and helped me realize that, where my value lies exactly and how to use that and branch from that. And it was a very profound moment for me. I literally kind of broke down a little bit. I shed some tears, because to be working that hard for so long and feel like you're going nowhere, like a hamster running in a wheel, and have somebody just say, listen, what you're doing is great, but here's the right direction that you should be taking, and here's how to do it the right way. Like, you've got all the tools, you're just not going in the right direction. For him to be able to do that for me was huge. And so we're going live today, and I'm introducing him today as my way of saying thank you. This is my form of gratitude to Landon. He's quickly become my brother from another mother. I am one of the moderators in his group. So I kind of help make sure that it's the right people for him and his business that are coming in every day, people that really need it, people who will be good to work with him and with all of us, really, right? That set the right kind of tone in the group. Mm-hmm. And it's actually my honor, my privilege to be able to do that with you and help you guys out. And I feel like I'm getting value every single day out of that group, like times a million. So with that being said, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let Landon take over and just kind of tell us about yourself, man. Tell us about where you came from, what's going on in that group every day.
Sure. Well, a lot of different people have a different idea of what the group is about. Jason, you can find it at Getting Clients Without Being Salesy. If you search that on Facebook. I'd taken several Facebook courses before that, and I wanted something that was a little bit new because Facebook changes, anyways. My wife and I were on that path, and I was having conversations with a handful of guys and gals in that group about how do you do this and how do you do that. And because I'm a sales guy, I build relationships, right? That's my thing. I started building relationships with people. And in the course of building those relationships, they start telling me about, I've got this guy and it's a trial and all these leads. And I know he ended up with clients and didn't bring me on. Like, what the hell? So I'm having these conversations, and all of a sudden 1 week, 5 different people are like, dude, you need to teach this. And I was like, no, I don't. Not interested in that. I'm doing this other thing. It just kept coming up and coming up and coming up. It kind of fell into my lap. 3 years in the business to business finance world, I learned how to mindfuck just about anybody I wanted to into the thing that I was selling. They didn't have a choice. They could hang up the phone or buy. That was it. And I got really good at that. And one day I had a come to Jesus with myself because I hated myself. I was angry. I was frustrated. I wasn't nice to my woman and my kids and my dogs and my friends. And I just was miserable. And the short of the long to that, because there's actually a pretty good story to that, is I had to change the way that I did what I did. The problem was my tool set of how to close people was so refined and worked so well that I was responsible for a big amount of revenue to the company that I worked for. And I couldn't just up and change the style on how I did the thing. Of course, this took me like 6 to 12 months to figure out that A, that was the issue, B, how to change it. And what ended up happening was I ended up being able to have conversations with the right people for me to begin with, to walk them down their own path, to make their own decision. And then I would hold the space for them to make that decision, right? What this got me was fewer clients that paid way more money, that loved me and followed me from that company to then another company that I worked for. And no BS, no headaches, no nonsense, no issues, no problems. And now I'm not a sales jerk, right? So I don't have to do the trial closing, and I don't have to, act like a jerk to, force people into a box, which is really what sales is. So let me go back. I'm having this conversation with these people in the faith group, and there was actually another Facebook ads group, and we're going back and forth, and they're like, "You got to teach this," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that." And as I was thinking about it, because 5 people, 3 people on one day, the next day another person, and the day after that another person, they're like, "You got to teach this." Thanks, Jason. And as I'm thinking about this, the thing that went through my head was I do sales so completely, totally different that if I came out with a sales training course on the internet, I would garner so much hate from who's out there actually teaching sales that do I really want to deal with that, right? My whole reason for changing how I did the sales game was so I didn't have to deal with headaches and conflict and BS and putting out fires and all that shit. My take on sales is if you start with the right people for you to begin with, that there's no need to persuade, coerce, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, so that was several months ago. The group has totally bloomed. In the last 60 days, we went over 2,000 people. We're coming in on 2,200. We're declining upwards of 60% of the people a day who request. We don't add people to the group. We don't invite people to the group. We're not running ads to bring people to the group. We figured out, what's up, Tyson? What's up, Mark? We figured out a way. We've actually figured out a bunch of different ways to do the thing that people want us to do in interacting with them, that Facebook says, ooh, this is the kind of interaction we want. And then Facebook gives us all the love that we could possibly ever handle. And the group is just exploding. The group is specifically for service business owners, coaches, authors, real estate agents, mortgage brokers, people that sell high-end stuff, to learn a different way to do sales. But more importantly, a lot of the people in those categories that I just rattled off aren't salespeople, and they find it hard to get clients because they're trying to act like a sales-y kind of person. What we teach is people how to get clients without being salesy. And by doing that, we teach people how to do that without having to learn all the sales tactics, right? So, and then because the group has taken off so well and we've kind of figured out how to organically engineer building an audience, that's become a topic that people want to know about. So it's John and myself and Mark. John does lead generation stuff. Mark does kind of the sales conversation training stuff. And I'm kind of finding myself in the how to build an audience arena. It's fucking amazing. It's really cool. So it's
ridiculously amazing. It really is.
Yeah. It's, well, let's put it this way. There are people that many of us know and respect that teach people how to build Facebook groups that are kind of like, holy shit, what's going on here? We do things different. Everybody's going that way, go that way, right? Red ocean, blue ocean. I mean, you can go on and on and on with all of those, but that's kind of the story, and that's kind of what's going on with the group.
Something that I want you to share, because I love the video you tell in the story, if you don't mind. Can you share the story of why you call yourself the sales gorilla?
Sure. You're funny. Yes, I will totally do that. And before I do that, I want to say this. Mark and I, the Bald Gorilla, were on a call, a Zoom call before you and I hopped on this call. And John had done that Facebook Live that he did, I don't know, probably an hour and a half ago. By the time I got off the call with Mark, 5 till you and I started on the hour, I had 3 people message me that I haven't had a bunch of communication with. I don't know them, right? They're not in the course. They reached out to me and said, that was the most amazing thing that I've seen in a free group ever. You guys rock. And we're hearing that. Why? Here's why. I've followed this space, the whole online marketing thing, since 98. Like, not even kidding. And one of the people that I have for years looked up to is Frank Kern. He peaked for me as a favorite when he moved from Georgia to California, and he was in that house and long surfer hair and, t-shirt and shorts, and he's got the guitar and he's playing, and he's like, just be cool to your audience, right? And he says, one of the things that he regularly says is, give more than your competitors are willing to, because that will make the people that say, yes, I want more. Can I pay you for more? And that's the whole idea behind our group. So that's why we do things the way we do. Now, so I was selling business to business finance services, and let me break that down a little bit. The company that I worked for was owned by the second largest bank in the world for business. And the division of that company that I worked for sold all of the different products, but it was specific to North America, though we had the ability to work globally. We worked with Fortune, and when I say we, I had Fortune 5 clients that were my clients. I focused the last 5 years in that industry on the Fortune 1000. And the way that industry works is it's turn and burn on the sales end, and it's turn and burn on the client end. And that was like the main source of my headache, was the issues with clients. I was managing 400 clients, 400 active clients, and it was just constant all the time bullshit. And I was just frustrated and angry. Well, kind of where that came from was the mentality of the turn and burn thing. And the sales guys, the way that they would do it is they'd hire 5 or 7 guys that week, and at the end of that month, one of those guys was still there. But during that period of time, those guys would say something to a client, whether it was true or not, and bring that client on. Well, if that person as a salesperson's gone, somebody has to manage those clients. I'd been there long enough that I was getting those clients, and it was just a friggin' nightmare. One day in particular, I had a 40-minute phone call with a client, a Fortune, I think they were in the Fortune 100 at the time. Household name. If you're watching this, I don't care where you live. If you're on the internet watching this, you've got many, many, many of their products in your home. Household name, right? Big, giant company. Big, like mid 5-figure to me. And there was this thing that came out. We were told X. Bullshit. No, you weren't. Oh, they had it documented. So client relationship totally could blow up. Mid 5 figures to me in my pocket for a 12-month period of time could be like that gone. And I just had enough. So I'm like steaming. I go down and I'm talking with a good friend of mine, started on the same day in that industry at the same place with the same training management that I had. And we were buddies, right? We saw things kind of the same way. And I'm standing in his office door talking with him, and I open up the door and he could see the look on my face. He's like, feeling a little gorilla today, huh? And I said, yeah. He said, what's going on? And I was like, these stupid fucking monkeys will tell any client anything they need to hear to close them. And it's bullshit because then we have to deal with it. And then I said, the name of the client is on fire. And I friggin' had it. Well, if you look at me now, this isn't normally my thing. I just happen to have my hair and my beard like this when I started doing the course thing. I look a little gorilla, right? I mean, you can see me as a primate. My demeanor is a little gruff. Like the whole thing fits. Well, the point of that whole gorilla thing is if you're actually a great salesperson, you're not like those stupid fucking monkeys. You don't have to like run around and be all loud and wave your arms and say shit that people want to hear and need to hear to buy your thing. That's stupid. If you can be a great salesperson, you're a gorilla, and you don't have to beat your chest to get the deal done, right? So just the whole package kind of fit, hence the sales gorilla. It's also like brought on a full culture, the Gorilla Army Nation. Everybody's part of the Gorilla Army. You know, the sales gorilla, the bald gorilla, guerrilla marketing with a slightly different twist than it just all fits. Mm-hmm. And a good friend of mine made me something because he thought my logo looked so cool by hand painted and all that. Just, it's rad, but that's the story.
Your icebreaker is just your demeanor. That, mm-hmm. You just kind of, you tell it like it is. You let people, you're very approachable. If I got a question for you, I feel like I can message you privately or talk about it in the group. Mm-hmm. And people really appreciate that. I know I don't just speak for myself. I think that everybody appreciates that. And if they don't appreciate that, then they can go find another group, but mm-hmm. they're not going to find the amount of value that they're getting out of this one. So,
and that's the point.
Exactly.
Can I touch on what Jason just said?
Yes.
So, okay, I'm gonna drop a value bomb or whatever. Here's what a lot of people who have a business who need to get clients don't get, right? Know, like, and trust is what the sales transaction is built on. A really good sales trained person, a really high-end trained salesperson can manufacture that because they understand all the psychological tactics it takes to create that. That's a force. It's a force that can be used positively, negatively. In my mind, at the end of the day, if you're using psychological tactics to get somebody to buy your shit, you're manipulating somebody. Now, mm-hmm. know, like, and trust are real things. And know, like, and trust happen when you're talking with somebody who would naturally fit you and your demeanor and can relate to you. Know, like, and trust. If they happen to also need the thing that you can provide results with, then it makes it really easy to have that conversation. Jason says, no need to be salesy. Clients will not listen to you until you show you care. Absolutely. Funny enough, Jason, you weren't in my group, our group, until just now on this call. I posted that in the group this morning and on my wall. Here's a little piece of that. I haven't made an outbound cold call for over 4 years. That's fantastic. I don't think that cold calling is the most effective way to get clients. However, we all have to make connections, and relying on the people who love us to say, this guy's the shit, right, is awesome, but it only goes so far. You still, to an extent, could be and should be making cold outreach. It's called the approach connections. I do it on Facebook all the time, intentionally, with a specific way that I go about doing it. A cold call is no different. But if you can reach out and make connections with people and do it the right way, and it's amaze balls. So I just had to touch on that.
No, you're absolutely right. And something else that, more things, just more nuggets that I learned from your group pretty regularly. It just, like I said, it really brings me back to my roots, and it kind of reminds me of, how you're supposed to do it. And, so that I'm a big Gary Vee fan. I listen to him and pretty regularly because I just think that he's amazing. I think he's one of those guys that lives exactly what we are trying to do every single day, or we are doing every single day, right? Provide ridiculous, like show up every day, show up every single day, provide that value, build those relationships, and get clients, right? At the end of the day, we're trying to get paid, right? We want to make money. And something that he mentioned, I was listening to, I might have been watching a video the other day, but something that he mentioned was, that there are still a lot of business owners, especially like real estate agents, that still do direct mail. And yep. his reason why he talked about this is because he doesn't understand why so many people still do direct mail and even do like billboard, like outdoor advertisements, like billboard advertisements, because what, like he was saying is like, 85% of the accidents caused, vehicle accidents caused every single day is because people are on their cell phones, right? So they're not even paying attention to themselves to things when they're driving. They're driving and they've got this with their phone, right? So if you are a business owner and you're not presenting yourself with some sort of killer value, killer content on some social media platform somewhere that people are hanging out on every single day, that they're looking on their cell phones, you're missing out. You're missing out big time. And that's kind of like something that he mentioned. And I feel like I've been preaching that for a long time. So it was kind of cool to hear him, my number one mentor, say that out loud and I went, exactly. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why, again, the groups. And so just for those people who are tuning in right now, people who are listening or even watch the recordings, I'm probably going to go ahead upload this onto YouTube later. Landon's given so many value bombs in the free group regularly, but one of the things that we've all quickly been learning is that Facebook groups where you're providing that killer value every single day is one of the best ways to build those relationships and earn people's trust to want to do business with you, right? Mm-hmm. Landon, you agree with that?
It's the natural progression of, here's another thing that I talk about. For those of you who are catching this now, check this out. One of the things that we've been paying attention to is the human connection roller coaster, okay? So if you go back about 15, 18 years ago, when the internet really was starting, humans up to that point for the previous however many years were able to connect with the people they wanted to connect with on the phone. Even at that point, cell phones, right? Email was starting, but you had to really go see somebody face to face to connect with them. Look at what we're doing right now. It's live, it's on video, and it's live. We can interact back and forth. We live half the country apart. The where it's going is humans for the last 15 or so years, we've been focused on the automation of the connection thing. Don't call me. Really, Mom, you can't send me a text message, right? That's a Gary Vee thing. The emails, email was rad 15 years ago. Even 10 years ago it was amazeballs. But now it's really, I've got 57,000 emails in my one main Gmail inbox. Yeah, email. I'm not saying email lists aren't any good. The right now connection, because it's been so automated for so long, people are now interested in the actual connection. And when you give that first, Facebook group, in a community, building a community, and it's awesome, then people are like, oh, wow, you give a damn, and this is awesome. And they stick around. And even though life is busy and fast-paced, the Facebook groups that are actually doing that and encouraging that kind of interaction are taken off, and there's nothing else like that we have access to right now.
And it's great because, again, I mean, we're doing it for free. We're showing up every day. We're asking questions. We're taking polls. We're making sure that we're listening to the people who need that help, and we're giving them the help. Mm-hmm. And what happens with that's super powerful is they're like, holy crap, so-and-so, we're going live, right? So I'm using a software on my Facebook page to go live, to talk about it, to promote you. You know, for as many people that are in the group, I got over 1,000 Facebook friends, right? People are getting exposure to land right now, right? And it's those of you that are listening, these guys are going live every single day. Landon does Friday night lives. He does sometimes Saturday night lives, and he'll post the Zoom link in his group on the page, and you can either watch the Zoom link or he'll invite you to be a part of the Zoom, and you can be a part of the panel, so to speak. And I try to jump on there as much as I can so that I'm not just sitting there listening, that I, can provide some value, interact as well. But this is an incredible group. If it's something that you're interested in, please reach out to Landon. He can be reached at Landon Porter. His page is called The Sales Gorilla, and the name of the group is Get More Clients Without Sounding Salesy, right? Isn't that right?
Getting clients without being salesy.
Without being salesy. So